Hello, today we're going to make some really cute stud earrings using UV resin and a mold. So first I'm going to put the UV resin directly into the bottom of the mold just until it covers the bottom. You're not filling it up yet. And UV resin is what you need a UV light to cure, so you don't mix it, you just pour it directly from the bottle and use your light to cure it. So this is some zinnia flowers that I grew and dried last year. And I have dried some this year as well, but I wanted to use my older ones first. And I dried it a lot more last year, so I still have a lot left, which is good for if you use them in projects like this a lot. So first I'm just tearing the petals off, and then I'm going to tear them into tiny little pieces. This is a pink one, and if you haven't grown zinnia flowers before, I highly recommend it if you have space for it, especially if you're doing projects like this, because it'll save you a lot of money and they just keep on growing. If you plant them in the spring, they'll grow all the way to the fall. You just deadhead them and they keep coming back. It's really awesome, and they're also a cut flower, so they're pretty in vases. So I'm going to go ahead and take the leaves off there too so we can get some green color. And then I also have some purple that I'm going to add. See how this is pulling seeds out as well? You can plant those the next year if you really wanted to make more zinnias. And then some white as well. And of course the white turns like a more of a rustic cream color once it's dried, but they look really pretty in the resin projects. So if you don't have space to grow your own flowers, or if you want to do this project immediately, you can look in my description of my video and I will link some dried flowers that I use in other projects that'll work just as good for this. Just crumble them up like I did with these. And I'm just going to start doing like green, pink, purple, and white. I'm going to use all of the different colors that I crumbled up in this particular earring. And you don't want to completely fill it full. You want the UV light to be able to penetrate the UV resin to the front of the earring. So I am leaving a little bit of space in between there. But I'm mostly making sure there's enough in there to make the earring look nice, with a variety of different sizes and colors in there. And I had to tear this one, it's a little too big. And you can see I'm using a toothpick. I think that makes it so much easier. I just get a little bit of the resin on the toothpick and it helps me pick up the petals. So I went ahead and filled them all with flowers, and now I'm just going to put in some gold foil, just tearing them into small little pieces and adding that into, like, it doesn't really matter where you add them, it's however you want to do it, but I'm going to do it on mostly just the insides, or like the outsides, sorry. And it's easy to tear this because it's really, really thin. So you just use your finger and the toothpick and it comes right apart. And it's best if you use gloves and a respirator. I've got those linked in my description as well. So I put those under the UV light for a minute. And then I'm doing an experiment. So I've never done this before, but I decided to try it with you guys. So I went ahead and put in a little bit of UV resin at the bottom of the mold. And I took a napkin that I used from a previous project. You can find it on my channel. But I didn't use it with resin though. So I was like, I'm going to try this. It's really thin, so I wasn't sure exactly how it would work, but I'm going to get closer for you so you can see what happens. So I take it and I'm going to flip it to where the front of it is to the bottom of my mold. Very, very gently I'm going to press it down so I don't tear it because it's super, super thin. So I'm very gently submerging it into the resin until the resin covers up the napkin. And it takes just a second because you want to be very careful, but very carefully get it in there. Okay, so now that the bottom of that is going to be the front of the earring, well, you'll see that sunflower on the front. I cured it for a minute, and then I'm going to put this earring back there and then fill the rest of it with resin. But do it very gently, like just one drop at a time so it doesn't overfill, because these are very tiny molds because they're stud earring molds. Once it's filled, you're going to put it under the UV light for another minute. And I want to make sure that's right in the middle. The earring backs will try to move. I'm going to use the lighter to pop the bubbles. It's trying to move again, so hurry up, and then you cure it with your UV light and it won't move anymore. It keeps on trying to move to the left. There, go. Got it. So then you can take it out of the mold. And this is the final product. Now, it actually worked. I was very surprised. You could actually really see it, even though it was thin. It's kind of see-through, though, which is kind of nice. You can still see light through it. But the middle part was so big, you can't really tell necessarily that was a sunflower. But this opens up a whole nother bit of options for these earrings. So you could try it in bigger earrings as well. And I probably will be experimenting more in the future with those. And then just make another one just like it, and you have a pair of earrings. So for these, I'm going to go ahead and add the drops a little bit at a time. And then you will pop your bubbles and put it under the UV light for a minute. And then this line of earrings will be done. And I suggest, if you're not very experienced with this yet and you're just starting, to just do one or two of the backs at a time, because they do try to move. That way, you don't ruin an earring because your earring back's on wrong. So I would just suggest doing a couple at a time. So here I just filled it with UV resin at the bottom, and I wanted to get closer for you. So I put some green, here's some pink. And you can see, look, this is a toothpick. See, that's how tiny these molds are. I had someone comment one time because they bought the mold and they said the mold was too tiny. And I was like, yes, but it has to be tiny because they're studs. You don't really want a giant stud in your ear. But it is tedious. I will tell you, it does take time to fill and decorate each one of these little molds. So this is actually for fake nails, a fake nail kit, but I find that anything you can use for fake nails is perfect for using in resin, especially in the stud molds. So I'm taking this little gold moon, which I think is so cute, and I'm putting that the face side down because the bottom is going to be the front of the earring. And then I cured that for a minute, and now I got some UV resin in this cup, and I added this coffee mica powder. So I'm going to go ahead and pour just a tiny little bit. I'm not filling it the rest of the way. Just pouring a little bit in there. And I'm going to make it like the background. The reason I'm doing that is because if I don't have some sort of background on this one, where it's mostly see-through, you will be able to see the earring back, and I don't want to do that. So I want only you to be able to see the moon, so we have to make a background. So once that's done, you can do your back. But now I had some left over, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for this little tiny earring. And I'm going to add some gold foil flakes in with it. So I'm just putting the brown resin, and then I'm adding some gold foil and mixing it a little. And they turn out really cute. And I do earring packs in sets of 3. And they work really good as the top earring. And I'll show you what I mean at the end, because I'll show you the finished packs together. So because the sunflower napkin worked, I wanted to try this, but it's really lighter. So I wasn't sure if you'd even be able to see it. So I went ahead and did another experiment while I had you. So this is like a really light blue-gray. We're going to do the same thing we did with the sunflower napkin. And then you just put it face down into the resin. I was really hoping you'd be able to see it since we could see the first one. Very carefully again, put it down into the resin. And you can already tell this isn't going to work. It kind of disappeared. And it's just because it's such a light color that you can't see it in the final product. So I put it under the UV light, and then I put the backs on just like we did the sunflower one. And then you're going to put your UV resin very carefully. Don't put too much. Put it under the UV light for a minute after you have the back set correctly the way you want it. And then I'll show you the result. I wasn't satisfied with the result. You can't even tell that it's on there. So this is what it looked like. You can't even tell it's there. It just looks, I don't know what it looks like. It almost is see-through. Definitely can see the back of the earring, but it didn't work. So moral of the story, if you're going to do the napkins, make sure it's a darker color, because you will get light and see-through no matter what napkin you're using because it's so thin. But if you're doing a light color like that, it's not going to work. So we did an experiment and we learned. I'm always experimenting because you can find new and easier ways to do things. And I think it's a lot of fun to do experiments that way. So this is a pack of 3 earrings that I sell. I have a lot of people ask me where I got these, and sadly, they no longer make them. I'm sad about it too because I love them. Oh, there goes my dog. My dog is barking at the mailman. I'm sorry. He does that a lot. So this is a pack of 3 earring display card, and they do not make them anymore. I wish they did because I love them. I love how they look. There's other options, though, that I can give you in the description of the video, which is what I'm planning on using after I run out of these because I bought these in bulk, so I still have some. So this is our sunflower one, and I don't know, like, I wish the middle of this sunflower wasn't so big because then you could tell it was a sunflower. It's still cute, but it reminds me of like an eyeball right now. But you never know. Someone might be able to tell that's a sunflower. So, and then you can configure these in different ways. So see how some of them will have the moon, some of them will have the other flower thing in the middle. So all of these are configured just slightly differently because people will like different earrings and they're more likely to buy it if they're a little bit different. So this is the final product. Please like and subscribe and comment and tell me if you like these or not. And I hope that you go look on my channel because I have a ton more videos on there that will tell you how to make jewelry. Have a blessed day.